Hello, my name is Terry Elaine Cole Brown, also known as T. Elaine Brown. I'm the author of Road to Excellence, A Journey Through HBCUs with Young Dreamers. I would love the opportunity to have this book as part of your school's curriculum, as I believe that every student, particularly every Black student, should be empowered with information and knowledge about HBCUs. I want to preface this by saying that this book is a historical fiction book. It is about a young Black boy who attends a private school, an affluent private school where there aren't many students that look like him. He's supposed to do a project, and his project is on HBCUs, but he receives pushback on the importance of HBCUs, or if HBCUs are good enough for him, because he is a student that excels. I'd like you to listen to the first couple of chapters to see where it goes. The book allows the students to eventually travel to each of the HBCUs that we have in the United States of America. And it shows the power of community, the HBCU alumni community, the Facebook community, and the power of resilience, standing up for yourself, standing up for your beliefs, and dismantling and disrupting stereotypes by any means necessary. So let's begin. Road to Excellence, A Journey Through HBCUs with Young Dreamers by T. Elaine Brown. That's me. Chapter 1, The Beginning. Crestwood High School was bustling with the usual rhythm of students shuffling through the hallways. Eugene, a determined and intelligent young Black student, found himself at the center of an unexpected battle within the walls of his classroom. It all began when Eugene had poured his heart and soul into a project about historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs. He meticulously researched, created captivating visuals, and passionately presented the profound impact these institutions had on shaping the future of countless Black individuals. But as he stood before his classmates, his teacher's dismissive tone cut through his enthusiasm like a blade. Eugene, I appreciate your effort, but let's focus on something more relevant, the teacher remarked. Her tone was dripping with condescension. Eugene's jaw tightened as he held back his frustration. But HBCUs have contributed so much to our society. They produce trailblazers, leaders, and thinkers who shaped history. A murmur of agreement swept through the classroom, and a strong voice chimed in from the back. It was Tasha, a brilliant young Black girl aspiring to become a lawyer. Eugene's right. HBCUs have been instrumental in empowering Black communities and fostering academic excellence. The teacher's eyes narrowed and her patience wore thin. Enough. We're not here to romanticize history, she said. Fueled by exasperation, Eugene's words grew bolder. It's not about romanticizing. It's about acknowledging the important roles of HBCUs and how they are continuing to play a role in shaping our society. Tasha nodded in agreement. Exactly. They've been pillars of empowerment for Black students for generations, she said, as her determination mirrored Eugene's. The teacher's face turned crimson with anger. That's enough. Both of you to the principal's office. As Eugene and Tasha made their way to the principal's office, they exchanged knowing glances. They knew they were standing up for something much bigger than themselves. Principal Anderson's office was an unfamiliar yet charged setting. Eugene and Tasha recounted the heated exchange, articulating their belief in the significance of HBCUs. However, their voices were ignored as the principal sided with their teacher and dismissed their arguments. Eugene, Tasha, I understand your passion, but we must prioritize our curriculum, Principal Anderson stated firmly. Eugene's frustration was simmering beneath the surface. He tried to remain composed, but couldn't. All of a sudden, Eugene stood up and yelled, "This is unfair. I hate it here, and you all are doing a disservice to all of your students." Offended and taken aback, Principal Anderson explained to Eugene that he would not tolerate disrespect and gave Eugene an in-school suspension for tomorrow. Eugene was furious. Principal Anderson turned out to be just like Miss Davis. There was nothing he could do to change Principal Anderson's mind, and the suspension was unfair. Later, as he stood outside the gates, his mother, Dr. Alicia Wilson, a prominent education advocate, pulled up. Eugene climbed in, and his disappointment was written all over his face. "Mom, I'm so mad. They just don't get it. HBCUs matter, and I got in-school suspension tomorrow for trying to highlight them." "I'm mad, but I won't stop fighting," Eugene declared. Suspension? Eugene, it's important to stand up for what you believe in, but you also need to learn how to navigate these challenges. What do you want to do? Dr. Wilson asked with a mix of pride and concern in her eyes. Eugene's eyes sparked with renewed resolve. "I want to challenge this suspension, but on my own terms. I want to find a way to reverse it and make sure that I can talk about HBCUs," he said. When they arrived home, they both told Eugene's dad, Colonel Wilson, what happened and what Eugene plans to do about it. With his parents' guidance, Eugene dug into researching school policies. Late into the night, he stumbled upon a promising discovery. It was a loophole that could potentially turn the tides in his favor. The following morning, Eugene returned to school enriched with fresh knowledge. He was armed and ready. He walked into Principal Anderson's office with a folder filled with carefully researched information in hand. "Principal Anderson, I found a way to resolve this," Eugene said confidently. Principal Anderson sighed, clearly uninterested. "Eugene, we've already discussed this," he said. "But please, just hear me out," Eugene implored. He outlined the loophole he had discovered, detailing how it could allow him to embark on an educational journey, enriching his understanding of HBCUs while also gaining academic credit. Principal Anderson leaned forward and carefully read the proposal. Skepticism was all over his face. "You mean you want me to approve you to go on a 6-week educational trip focused on HBCUs?" he questioned. "Yes, but I also like my suspension reversed. I apologize for the tone, but not for the passion. And I've seen several students who don't look like me say and do worse and louder things with no punishment. But I believe this trip can be enriching experience for me and my classmates," Eugene asserted. Principal Anderson glanced at the paperwork again, and his brows were furrowing in thought. "This seems unconventional, but it looks like you followed all the guidelines." Eugene's heart raced as he watched Principal Anderson review the documents. After a tense silence, Principal Anderson looked up and nodded begrudgingly. "Fine, Eugene. You made a valid point regarding the suspension, so it has been reversed, and you are approved for this trip, I guess," he said. "Just make sure this is meaningful and you blow it out of the park." Eugene's excitement was almost tangible. He thanked Principal Anderson with genuine gratitude. As he left the office, a sense of triumph washed over him. He had not only reversed his suspension, but opened the door to a unique and transformative educational experience. Over the next few days, word spread throughout the school about Eugene's bold journey. 2 more Black students, Marcus, with aspirations of becoming an architect, and Jade, who dreamed of being an engineer, approached Eugene with unconditional support for his cause. As the group of determined students united, their shared vision became clearer. They were embarking on an unprecedented journey, one that would challenge norms, broaden perspectives, and empower them to advocate for the recognition and significance of HBCUs. And so, Eugene's single act of courage ignited a spark that would lead them all down an extraordinary path of self discovery, activism, and educational exploration. Chapter 2: A Parent Solution. Eugene stepped off the school bus with a triumphant smile tugging at his lips. The events of the past few days had left him feeling relieved and proud. He had stood up for his beliefs, reversed the suspension, and even unlocked a pathway to an exciting HBCU exploratory trip. As he walked towards his house, his mind raced with possibilities, and his heart was filled with anticipation of the adventure that lies ahead. Entering his cozy home, Eugene found his mother, Dr. Wilson, engrossed in a book, and his father, retired Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth Wilson, tinkering with a model airplane, a hobby he picked up since retirement. Both looked up and greeted him with warm smiles. "Hey there, champ. How was your day?" his mom asked. Eugene could not contain his excitement as he recounted the successful outcome of this meeting with Principal Anderson. "Mom, it worked. I'm going on that trip to explore HBCUs." Dr. Wilson's eyes sparkled with pride, and Colonel Wilson gave him a firm and approving nod. "I know you had it in you, Eugene. This is just the beginning of great things," his mother said, with his father, while his father added, "That's my boy, standing up for what's right." Eugene's excitement, however, was tinged with a hint of nervousness. Scratching his head, with his grin fading slightly, he responded, "Well, there's just one tiny issue. I don't have any money to fund the trip." As his mother leaned back in her chair, his father saw her contemplating and responded, "Ah, the classic student conundrum. Lots of enthusiasm, but an empty wallet." Eugene chuckled. "Yeah, exactly." Dr. Wilson's eyes twinkled mischievously. "Well, lucky for you, your father and I happen to be experts in creative problem solving. Let's put our heads together and come up with a solution, honey." "Let's get it," replied Colonel Wilson. Eugene was intrigued. "Creative problem solving, huh? All right, I'm all ears," he said. Dr. Wilson thought for a moment, her finger tapping against her chin. "How about we share your story? Let's make a Facebook post in some HBCU groups and explain what happened. People love supporting young minds with big dreams." Eugene's eyes widened. "Wait, you think that will work?" His father grinned. "You'd be surprised how powerful social media can be. Plus, the HBCU community is strong and supportive. Let's give it a shot," he said. With a mix of excitement and skepticism, Eugene sat down at the computer as his mother dictated the post. They crafted a heartfelt message that outlined his journey from standing up for HBCUs in the classroom to the unexpected opportunity for the trip. They gave details about the challenges, his determination, and his hopes for the future. The post was finally ready, and Dr. Wilson shared her word with the rest of the internet world. Eugene stared at the screen. His heart was pounding. "All right, it's out there. Let's see what happens," Colonel Wilson explained. Hours passed, and Eugene found himself pacing back and forth. "Mom, do you think anyone will actually respond?" he asked. Dr. Wilson chuckled, trying to soothe his nerves. "Patience, Eugene. These things take time." Just as Eugene was about to give up hope, his mother's phone buzzed with notifications. She picked it up and her eyes widened in surprise. "Eugene, you won't believe this," she yelled. Eugene rushed over, his heart racing with anticipation. "What is it?" he shouted. Dr. Wilson turned the phone towards him, revealing a flood of comments, likes, and shares of their words. Look at this, Eugene. Your story resonates with people. They're offering support, encouragement, and even suggesting ways to help fund your trip, Dr. Wilson proudly proclaimed. Eugene's eyes widened in amazement as he scrolled through the comments. He couldn't believe the outpouring of positivity and support from the HBCU community. This is incredible, Eugene shared with a humble tone. His mother grinned proudly. Told you, didn't I? Now it's time to believe in the power of community. Over the next few days, the Facebook posts continued to gain traction. Eugene watched in awe as more and more people joined the conversation, sharing their own stories and helping. It was a testament to the strength of a community brought together by a shared belief in education and empowerment. As Eugene sat in his room, scrolling through the comments, his mother entered with a triumphant smile. Eugene, you did it. Your post has gone viral, she enthusiastically shared. Eugene's eyes widened and he stared at his mother in disbelief. Viral? Seriously? He questioned. Dr. Wilson nodded, her eyes shimmering with pride. Yes, seriously. You've touched the hearts of so many people and they want to help make your educational journey a reality. Eugene felt a surge of gratitude and excitement. I can't believe it. I never thought something like this would happen. His mother hugged him tightly. Never underestimate the impact of your actions, Eugene. This journey is just the beginning, and I have a feeling it's going to be extraordinary, she encouraged. And so, in the heart of their small home, a spark had ignited. A spark fueled by determination, creativity, and the unwavering support of a community united by a shared dream. Eugene's journey was set in motion, propelled by the belief that with the courage, passion, and with a little bit of social media magic, anything is possible. Chapter 3, Winds of Change. The next day, Eugene entered Crestwood High School. His heart was still pounding. He felt a mixture of excitement and nerves. Today was the day he would share the exhilarating news of his approved educational trip with Principal Anderson. He made his way to the principal's office, rehearsing his words in his mind. As he approached the door, he took a deep breath and knocked lightly. Come in, a voice called from the inside. Eugene entered with a confident smile on his face. Good morning, Principal Anderson. I have some exciting news I wanted to share. Principal Anderson looked up from his paperwork with a curious expression on his face. Well, Eugene, I'm all ears. What's the news? He said. Eugene's voice brimmed with enthusiasm. We put a social media post out and we have what we need to take this trip. I don't know all the details, but I do know that the HBCU community has our back, he shared. Principal Anderson's eyes widened. He leaned back in his chair like a proud father. Impressive, Eugene, I have to say. Your determination is truly commendable. Before he could continue, the office door swung open and Miss Davis, the teacher who had dismissed Eugene's HBCU project, walked in with a stern expression on her face. Principal Anderson, I need to speak with you about something. Principal Anderson sighed and his demeanor shifted slightly. Of course, Miss Davis. What is it? He asked. Miss Davis turned her gaze towards Eugene. Her tone was dismissive and condescending, like the tone she had when she first saw Eugene's project. It's about Eugene here. I believe he tricked you into approving that trip of his, she accused. Eugene's heart sank. He was taken aback by her accusations. Principal Anderson's gaze shifted between Eugene and Miss Davis. There was an unusual hint of amusement in his eyes. Tricked me, you say? Please enlighten me, he questioned. Miss Davis folded her arms. Her tone became indignant. I mean, come on, Principal Anderson. Eugene speaks so properly, and he's highly educated. It makes no sense that his focus is on HBCUs when he can easily attend an Ivy League school. Why waste talent? She asked. Principal Anderson's eyes twinkled, and he leaned forward. Ironically, his tone was playful. Well, Miss Davis, you see, I didn't attend an Ivy League school. In fact, I'm a proud graduate of an HBCU. Miss Davis seemed taken aback by Principal Anderson's response. You? You went to an HBCU? She asked. Principal Anderson nodded with a huge smile on his face. Yes, I did. I, the esteemed principal of this prestigious high school, where many students who look like me are unable to attend, am the product of an HBCU, and I believe in the power of HBCUs to shape young minds and foster a strong sense of community, he stated. Eugene watched the exchange in awe. Principal Anderson's personal experience added weight to his cause and seemed to have caught Miss Davis off guard. Principal Anderson continued. This time, his tone was patient, but it was pointed as well. Miss Davis, it's important not to make assumptions based on appearances. Eugene's proposal was well researched and thought out, and I'm proud to support his pursuit, he commented. Miss Davis shifted uncomfortably. Her cheeks were flushed with embarrassment. I, I didn't mean to, she muttered. Principal Anderson's voice remained calm but firm. It's important to recognize and challenge our biases, Miss Davis. Eugene's journey is a testament to the impact of embracing different perspectives. Eugene couldn't help but feel a sense of validation as Principal Anderson defended his proposal. He mustered the courage to speak up. Thank you, Principal Anderson. I appreciate your support, he said. Principal Anderson nodded, and with a reassuring smile on his face said, You're welcome, Eugene, and I suggest you head back to class. He turned his gaze back to Miss Davis and with a stern and disgusted look said, and we'll continue our conversation later. As Eugene left the office, his heart felt lighter than ever. He had not only received the approval he needed, but he had also witnessed a subtle shift in perception right before his eyes. Back in the classroom, Eugene's sense of accomplishment was momentarily overshadowed by a new challenge. Miss Davis walked in and approached him. In a begrudging tone, she said, Eugene, I suppose congratulations are in order for your trip. Eugene nodded politely, not letting her negativity deter his spirits. Thank you, Miss Davis, he said. She paused for a moment before speaking again. However, I won't let you off the hook completely. Since you'll be away, I prepared a project for you to complete during your trip. It'll be due the day after your return. Eugene's heart sank at the thought of an additional task, but he quickly masked his disappointment. Understood, Miss Davis, he said. As the bell rang, signaling the end of class, Eugene left the room with mixed emotions. His anticipation of a freeing experience on this trip had been challenged with the task of balancing his adventure with an unexpected assignment. Later that day, as Eugene gathered his belongings, Tasha approached him. Eugene, your post about the trip went viral. My parents saw it and already signed the consent form. I'm going with you, she exclaimed. Eugene's eyes lit up with joy. That's fantastic, Tasha. I'm glad they're supporting, he said. Tasha's enthusiasm was contagious. She continued. And not just me. Two more of our friends are interested too. Marcus, he's an aspiring architect, and Jade, she wants to be a music teacher. Eugene's heart swelled with pride. That's amazing. It's incredible to see how our community is coming together, he said. Tasha nodded. Her determination was evident. Absolutely. Oh, and even Lily signed it. She's white, but she's passionate about equity and justice, she reaffirmed. As they talked, a familiar face approached. The white boy who had always looked up to Eugene but could never say anything to him because of his friends. He admired Eugene's ability to stand up for what he believed in. Hey, Eugene, I heard about your trip. I'm in too. the white boy said. Eugene grinned, extending his hand. I appreciate your support, but are you sure? And what's your name? The boy looked Eugene in the eyes, firmly shook his hand, and said, I'm Ethan, and I've always admired your courage. As Eugene exchanged introductions with Ethan, he couldn't help but feel a renewed sense of purpose. This journey was about more than just himself. It was about unity, learning, and challenging biases. With a diverse group of friends by his side, Eugene was ready to embark on an adventure that would redefine their understanding of education, culture, and greatness. Chapter 4, The Road Ahead. Eugene walked through the front door of his home, his mind still buzzing with excitement about the upcoming HBCU road trip. He received the green light from Principal Anderson and shared the news with his friends. His heart swelled with pride as he thought about the upcoming journey. As he entered the living room, he found his mother hunched over a map spread out on the coffee table. She was busy tracing routes and marking destinations with colorful markers. His father was on the laptop creating playlists from YouTube so that he didn't have to listen to the mumble rap that he said the kids listened to. Mom, Dad, Eugene said with a smile, what are you all up to? Dr. Wilson looked up. Her bright eyes and wide smile looked heavenly. Eugene, my dear, I've taken the liberty of planning your itinerary. After all, we're already in St. Louis, so your first stop is Harrisville State University. Eugene's eyes widened in surprise. Wait, you've already planned it out? Thank you, Mom, he explained. His mother nodded and her grin widened. Of course, we have limited time, and I will make sure you get the most out of this experience, she said. Eugene felt a surge of gratitude. You really are the best mom, he said. He turned to his father and asked, what are you doing, Pops? Colonel Wilson let out a very loud laugh and responded, your mom mapped out the route, and I mapped out our logistics. I know how long it takes to get from point A to B, where the best stops are, where the cheapest gas is, and now I'm making my playlist. And since we're in St. Louis, I'm starting with Nelly, then some Tina Turner, Marvin Gaye, the Isley Brothers, and Johnny Gill. Now, go gather your crew because tomorrow we hit the road bright and early. I need to pick up the minivan, he said. Eugene called each member of the crew to come over and help pack for the trip. Tasha, Marcus, Jade, Ethan, and even Lily arrived with their parents. Their excitement was intense. They would all spend the night and leave in the morning. The girls placed their belongings upstairs, and the boys left theirs in the living room. As they gathered in Eugene's living room, the parents joined them. They sat in a semicircle of support and anticipation. Eugene's parents welcomed everyone and had a nice little speech prepared. We're so glad you all could make it. I just wanted to make sure that we are all on the same page. This trip is not just about exploring HBCUs, but about embracing education, culture, and unity, Colonel Wilson said. The pride in the parents' eyes was evident. Marcus's mother, Miss Thompson, spoke up. Yes, we know. Some of us may not have had the chance to attend college ourselves, but we want the best for our kids. We appreciate your family for pouring into them, she said. Tasha's father, Mr. Johnson, said, our children are our future, and we're grateful for the opportunities they have. Jay's mother, Miss Carter chimed in. This trip will be a unique chance for them to learn and grow. We couldn't be more thankful, she said. Lily's father, Mr. White, smiled warmly. It takes a village to raise a child, and we're all part of this journey. Eugene's heart swelled with emotion as he looked around at the gathered parents. Their words reinforced his belief in the power of education and the impact it could have on generations to come. Just as the parents began discussing logistics and details with Dr. Wilson, Eugene's phone pinged with a new email notification. He pulled out his phone and read the message from Miss Davis. Subject, assignment instructions. Eugene, congratulations on your upcoming trip. As part of your assignment, you are required to document your experience during the trip. Your task is to write a 150-page single-space essay that captures your observations, insights, and the knowledge you gain. Include facts, lessons learned, and personal reflections. The essay must be submitted one day after your return. This assignment is a crucial part of your educational journey and will greatly impact your final grade. Best regards, Miss Davis. Eugene's excitement faded as he read the daunting task ahead. The thought of writing a 150-page essay seemed overwhelming, and doubt crept into his mind. Eugene's father, Mr. Turner, Ethan's father, Mr. Turner, noticed Eugene's expression and said with a reassuring smile, "Hey, Eugene, I couldn't help but overhear. You know, success isn't solely determined by a college degree. I didn't attend college, but I built a successful media business from the ground up using my common sense and creativity." Eugene looked at Mr. Turner. He was confused as to where the conversation was heading, but replied, "Really?" Mr. Turner nodded. "Absolutely. And to help you on your journey, I want you to have this." He handed Eugene a sleek video camera. It's a documentary filming camera. Carry it with you during the trip and capture everything you see and experience. Eugene's eyes widened in surprise. "Wow, thank you so much," he shouted. Mrs. Turner grinned. "And here's the best part. When you return, I'll have my team transcribe your recordings. We specialize in transcriptions for documentaries. With over 100 HBCUs and countless stories, your essay could be something truly remarkable." Lily chimed in. "Miss Davis thinks she's going to burden you, but you can have a success story. Let's document this trip and get the word out," she said. Eugene's spirits lifted as he held the video camera in his hands. The weight of the assignment suddenly felt lighter, and he realized that this journey was about much more than a mere grade. It was an opportunity to create something meaningful and impactful. With renewed determination, Eugene looked around at his friends and their parents, all of whom had come together to make his dream a reality. Chapter 5, Unveiling the Journey. The sun had barely begun to rise as Eugene stood on the front screen porch. Today marked the beginning of a remarkable journey, one that held the promise of adventure, learning, and unforgettable experiences. But it was raining. As Eugene gazed down the driveway, a smile broke across his face when he saw a minivan pulling up, driven by none other than his dad. Colonel Wilson had just parked the minivan outside their home. Everyone went outside to see their ride, except Ethan, who was asleep because he had been up all night, immersed in TikTok videos. Colonel Wilson instructed the group to go into the house and gather their belongings while he collected his and Dr. Wilson's things. Everyone got their things, and they headed to the minivan. In a moment of oversight, Colonel Wilson realized that they locked themselves out of the house. The minivan keys were trapped inside. Tension mounted outside as they were already behind schedule. But Tasha realized Ethan was still in the house. Frustration grew as Colonel Wilson tried to alert Ethan by pounding on the doors and windows, shouting his name amidst pouring rain. After a futile half hour, he urged Eugene to scale the roof. Eugene couldn't figure out how to do it, but Tasha and Dr. Wilson looked away. Colonel Wilson commanded that the plan be executed by them. Reluctantly, Dr. Wilson agreed to the plan under Colonel Wilson's persuasion. Tasha saw milk crates on the side of the house. She ingeniously assembled them in a chair to aid Dr. Wilson in reaching the second floor to access Eugene's window. Eugene, instructed to stabilize the makeshift ladder, hesitated when asked to assist Dr. Wilson further. Their exchange was fraught with tension and urgency. "Lock your hands like cheerleaders do," said Dr. Wilson. "I'm no cheerleader," replied Eugene. "Oh, you have jokes. This isn't a joke," Dr. Wilson exclaimed. "Your shoes are slippery." replied Eugene. I'll take them off, she insisted. Ma, you mean to tell me you're putting your bare feet in my hands? He questioned. Hush and focus, Eugene. My feet are clean, she replied. Eugene finally boosted her up, but Dr. Wilson struggled to maintain her grip on the sloping roof. She eventually reached the window in a soiled white shirt. Upon our frantic knocking and yelling, Ethan appeared, bewildered, with a disdain in her voice. Dr. Wilson instructed him to unlock the front door. Her immediate concern then shifted to safely descending the roof. Dr. Wilson to Eugene, help me down! As Dr. Wilson safely reached the ground with Eugene's help, Colonel Wilson's attention quickly shifted back to the task at hand. He called out to Ethan, who had just reemerged at the window. Ethan, come back down and grab your things. We need to leave now. Ethan, realizing the urgency in Colonel Wilson's tone, quickly disappeared from the window to gather his belongings. The rest of the group, relieved yet still anxious about the delay, began a recruit group near the minivan, ready to embark on their long-awaited college tour. The mood was a mix of relief and mild frustration as they waited for Ethan. Colonel Wilson, checking his watch, reminded everyone to be ready as soon as Ethan returned. Moments later, Ethan emerged from the house, backpack in tow, looking slightly sheepish, but ready to go. It was then that they realized that the minivan seemed a little small for all the passengers and all their belongings. Looks like we might need to do some serious Tetris style packing here, Marcus said with a lighthearted laugh. Yeah, who knew we need a degree in engineering just to fit ourselves and our stuff in here, Jay chimed in. Come on, folks, we've got this. We're embarking on an amazing journey together, Dr. Wilson said. All right, let's make it work, Ethan agreed. All right, crew, we may need to get creative, but I have faith in you all, Colonel Wilson shared. And remember, it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey we share, Dr. Wilson chimed in. After some strategic arranging and a good deal of laughter, the group managed to fit everything inside the minivan. Dr. Wilson climbed into the driver's seat. She would be driving most of the trip, and Colonel Wilson would take over when needed, as Colonel Wilson will rest during some of the school tours because of his knee injury. Is everyone ready? She asked. Tasha buckled her seatbelt and shouted, ready as we'll ever be. With a nod from Eugene, the minivan roared to life, and they were on their way. The journey to Harrisville State University awaited them, and the possibilities seemed endless. Upon arriving at the campus, the crew stepped out of the minivan, stretching their legs and admiring the scenery. They were tired from the cramped ride, but the excitement in the air was infectious. Upon reaching the entrance, they were met by a tall, beautiful woman dressed in a vibrant pink and green suit. The air of elegance and authority she exuded caught their attention. The woman approached them with a warm and welcoming gaze. Are you the HBCU tour group? She asked. Eugene and his friends exchanged excited looks with each other before responding in unison. Yes, we are, they said enthusiastically. The woman smiled. Her presence commanded attention. Welcome to Harrisville State University. I'm President Johnson. It's an honor to have you here. Eugene stepped forward, his voice full of gratitude. Thank you, President Johnson. We're thrilled to be here, he said. President Johnson's smile grew wider. Before we begin our tour of the campus with Miss HSSU, our campus queen, I have a surprise for you, she said. She led them toward a building on the campus, a spacious, gleaming structure known as the Givens Early Childhood Center. As they entered, their eyes enlarged in surprise. There, parked within the center of the parking lot, was a shiny RV. President Johnson gestured for them to come closer to the RV and said, allow me to introduce you to your home on wheels. This RV has been fully equipped to ensure your comfort and enjoyment throughout your journey. Eugene's jaw dropped as he took in the sight. Wow, is all he could muster up. President Johnson's voice was filled with pride as she spoke. The HBCU community rallied behind your journey, and through generous donations, we were able to rent this RV for the duration of your trip. Eugene's heart swelled with emotion. He turned to see tears glistening in his mother's eyes, and he knew he wasn't the only one moved by this incredible show of support. Tasha's voice held a mix of wonder and disbelief. This, this is incredible, she whispered. Marcus let out a low whistle. Man, I've never seen anything like it, he said. Jay's eyes sparkled as she scanned the vehicle. It's like a mini paradise on wheels, she whispered. President Johnson concurred with satisfaction. Indeed, it is. Let me show you what you're in store for. As the crew stepped inside the RV, they were met with an open and inviting interior. 7 beds lined the walls, each adorned with comfortable bedding and pillows. Each bed set was customized with a picture and represented an HBCU. President Johnson explained, these beds will provide you with a cozy place to rest and rejuvenate after your adventures. Ethan's eyes lit up as he scanned the area. And look, there's a PS5 and an Xbox. Eugene chuckled. Looks like we won't be missing out on any gaming action, Ethan said with pride. Jane pointed toward a kitchenette area with a stove and countertops. And check out this kitchen. We can cook our own meals, she said. The crew laughed because they knew Jay couldn't cook. President Johnson continued the tour, leading them to 2 fully stocked bathrooms. You'll find all the amenities you need here, she said. As they explored further, their excitement grew. Eugene opened one of the seat holders and revealed a stack of gift cards. His friends gathered around in amazement, so appreciative of the kind gesture. As they continued looking, President Johnson paused and said, but wait, that's not all. The HBCU Alumni Network has designated tour guides at each school who will greet you at the entrances. They're even opening their homes in case you all need to stay overnight somewhere. Dr. Wilson wiped away a tear, and her voice trembled as she spoke. Thank you, President Johnson. This sense of community is truly overwhelming. The crew's heart was full of gratitude and awe. President Johnson's words had transformed this journey into something far beyond what they had imagined. As they stood in that moment, surrounded by support, they felt the weight of history, unity, and the enduring power of education. With their spirits lifted and a fresh sense of purpose, the crew eagerly followed President Johnson to meet Miss HSSU and embark on their tour of the campus. As they walked, they couldn't help but whisper in anticipation of the exciting adventures that awaited them. The road ahead was uncertain, but with the RV as their vessel and a network of support guiding their way, Eugene and his friends were ready to embrace every twist and turn, all while making their mark on the road of their own unique and remarkable journey. Their first stop was the buzzing heart of the campus, the cafeteria. The aroma of freshly baked pastries danced in the air, drawing them closer like the Pied Piper's enchanting tune. The walls, adorned with murals of historical figures, accomplishments, seemed to come alive with stories waiting to be told. As they settled at a table, President Johnson regaled them with tales of the cafeteria's significance. This place is not just where students come to satisfy their hunger, she explained. It's a hub of community and connection. Here, ideas are exchanged, friendships are formed, and laughter echoes through the halls. The kids listened intently. Their taste buds were tingling with anticipation as they imagined the flavors of camaraderie and joy that filled the cafeteria each day. Just as President Johnson finished explaining the significance of the school colors, the rhythmic beat of drums grew louder, reverberating through the cafeteria. The kids turned their heads in unison, and their eyes widened with curiosity. Through the cafeteria doors burst a lively troop of majorettes whose vibrant costumes were flashing in the morning sunlight. Their precise twirls and dazzling moves filled the room with electric energy. The honeycombs, as they're called, were a sight to see. President Johnson's face lit up with a mixture of surprise and delight. She turned to the honeycomb squad advisor, Miss Thompson. The honeycombs. They always bring an extra sparkle to our campus, she said. Miss Thompson was a woman with grace and poise. She approached President Johnson with a smile and gave her the biggest hug. Good morning, President Johnson. We thought we'd surprise everyone with a mini performance today. The ladies have been practicing tirelessly, she exclaimed. The kids watched as the majorettes twirled and leaped. Their synchronized routine was a mesmerizing spectacle. They couldn't help but tap their feet to the infectious rhythm and admire the dedication and skill of the honeycomb squad. Curiosity ignited with Eugene, and he couldn't resist randomly blurting out. But wait, President Johnson, if Hairstyle doesn't have a football team, what role do the majorettes play? President Johnson let out a little chuckle. Ah, my young friend, the honeycomb squad is an essential part of our vibrant campus culture. While we may not have a football team, they perform during basketball games, pep rallies, and various campus events. They embody the spirit and pride of our institution, she insisted. The crew was intrigued. They had never considered the impact that extracurricular activities like the Honeycomb Squad could have in creating a sense of community and unity. Jade walked up to Miss Thompson and asked if she could ask a question, and Miss Thompson agreed. Miss Thompson, how does the Honeycomb Squad contribute to the overall atmosphere and experience at Harris Stowe? She asked. Surprised by the depth of the question, Miss Thompson responded, the Honeycomb Squad brings joy, excitement, and a sense of togetherness to our campus. They inspire school spirit, foster camaraderie among students, and uplift the crowd during games and events. Through their performances, they represent the dedication and excellence that Harris Stowe values. The kids nodded, their understanding expanding with every word. They were beginning to grasp the importance of every aspect of campus life, even those that may not receive the same recognition as athletic teams. The Honeycomb Squad symbolized a different form of teamwork, artistry, and unity. President Johnson's gaze swept across the room. You see, my young adventurers, HBCUs are about more than just academics. They're vibrant ecosystems where every individual, every talent, and every passion play a vital role in shaping our shared experience. She spoke. As soon as the Honeycomb Squad pranced out of the cafeteria, and as if on cue, President Johnson gestured toward another figure approaching them. Allow me to introduce you to Miss Harris Stowe, our campus queen, and a fellow member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Miss Harris Stowe, regal and poised, greeted the crew with a warm smile. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to have you here at Harris Stowe State University. I'm delighted to share the history and traditions of our institution with you. Tasha's eyes lit up with recognition. And AKA, just like President Johnson, Miss Harris laughed. That's right. We AKAs hold a special place in the heart of HSSU, she said. As they began the tour, the crew walked alongside Miss HSSU while listening intently to her words. Harris Stowe State University was founded in 1857 and is the only HBCU in St. Louis. It was established with a focus on educating African American teachers, empowering them to uplift future generations through education. She continued leading them to a statue of the university's hornet mascot. Our mascot, the hornet, represents our determination, resilience, and sense of community, she said. Ethan pointed at the vibrant brown and gold colors displayed throughout the campus. I love these colors. They really stand out, he said. Mr. Harris Stowe smiled. Brown and gold are symbols of strength and the pursuit of excellence, values that our university holds dear, she responded. As they walked, Eugene's mind buzzed some more with curiosity. Are there any famous historical figures associated with HSSU? He asked. With a sparkle in her eyes, Miss HSSU exclaimed. Absolutely. Some notable alumni include Julius Hunter, who is a retired news anchor and former St. Louis University vice president, and our current state representative, the first African American woman to be elected to Missouri's House of Representatives, Cori Bush. Tasha was so excited to hear that. I love how Miss Bush calls out things for what they are, and she is really for the people, she said. The crew continued their tour, wandering through historic buildings and lush green courtyards. Along the way, other college students joined their group, sharing their own insights and stories. Jay was itching to ask a question for a while and finally spoke up. What made you choose HSSU? Miss HSSU responded. It was a no-brainer. My HBCHS is literally less than 5 minutes away, and I wanted to attend a place where I could be unapologetically my authentic self, just like I was able to do while I was in high school. Ethan chimed in. I don't mean to sound slow, but what is an HBCHS? I've never heard of it. Miss HSSU gently replied. For me, HBCHS stands for Historical Black Catholic High School. My high school was the first co-ed Catholic high school for Black students in the United States, and has poured into the lives of so many students who look like me. Our Congresswoman went there as well. Oh, I like that name. I guess our high school would be called an HNBH, Ethan said. With a confused look, Miss HSSU reluctantly asked, and why is that? Eugene laughed. Historically non-Black. We have teachers there that don't support our beliefs. They question our abilities and think that schools that focus on educating Black students are not important. Oh, sorry that you all have had that experience. At an HBCU, you'll always feel at home, she said. As they soaked in the sights and stories, the crew realized that every inch of the campus held a story, a testament to the enduring legacy of HSSU and the countless individuals who had walked its hallowed halls. Miss HSSU led them to a picturesque courtyard where they paused to take in the view. Before we continue, I have a surprise for you all. She reached into a bag and pulled out HSSU t-shirts for each member of the crew. Eugene's face lit up as he accepted his shirt, which was his tangible connection to the university's rich history. Jay held up her shirt and a grin spread across her face. Thank you, Miss HSSU. This is amazing. Miss HSSU spoke with a heartfelt smile. Your journey has only just begun, and I hope that Harrisdale State University has left a lasting impression on you. Remember, education is a powerful tool that empowers us to create change and uplift our communities, she said. Eugene's heart swelled with gratitude as he looked at his mom and friends. The adventure had only just begun, but already it had transformed their perspectives and kindled a determination within them. As they bid farewell to Harrisdale State University, the crew of friends couldn't help but feel a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead was long and filled with opportunities, but they were ready to embrace every challenge, celebrate every triumph, and continue their journey of discovery, one HBCU at a time. With their appetites for knowledge and adventure sharpened, they eagerly followed President Johnson and Ms. Thompson, ready to explore the next chapter of their HBCU adventure. Little did they know that each HBCU held a unique story, a wealth of experiences waiting to be discovered. And so their adventure continued, filled with laughter, friendship, and a growing understanding of the power and legacy of historically Black colleges and universities. Thank you for reading chapters 1 through 5 with me. Chapter 6 starts Lincoln University. There are several chapters of the book. Each chapter covers an HBCU. I hope that you get a chance to read. I encourage you to buy this book. If you would like to buy the book in bulk for your students, please reach out and contact me. The price on Amazon can be adjusted for book price. Curriculum is also available to discuss this. This is a real life situation. These are real life situations intertwined in a nonfiction or in a fiction setting. So thank you for your time and have a good day.